I just received this mailer from the Bloomberg campaign. It says, New York's newspapers say Mike Bloomberg is making progress in our schools. And when you look at this, I feel that when people read this, maybe not being part of the school system, it looks as if all of these programs are resounding success. But being within the school system, I realize that this, to a great extent, is quite misleading. Quote, New York public school students are achieving at unprecedented levels, Daily News. Higher test scores and graduation rates, New York Post. Now, on paper, all of this looks great. But as a teacher, I know what happens inside the school system. When schools are pressured to perform, that is to make their scores go up, to make graduation rates go up, all sorts of dishonest practices go on. For example, there could be the outright fraud of changing grades. There could be the milder process of being just very lenient and subjective when you grade an exam, so that students, particularly on essay exams, are simply given benefit of the doubt. There could also be the softer forms of fraud. For example, if 100 students in your school take a standardized test and 60 pass, for example, that's a 60% pass rate. Now let's say you take away 20 of the failing grades, just discard them like they never existed. Most likely no one's going to complain if their failing score is tossed, but now you just eliminated 20 failing scores, so now you have a pass rate of 60 out of 80, which is now 75%. And these things go on. I've seen them go on in all kinds of schools. And it's not with malicious intent. It's done by people who either want to help a student out by throwing them a point or two, or feel guilty that a student maybe is getting close to the age when they might be told they can't go to public school anymore, and they feel that this is the only shot a student has at getting anywhere in life. Or they feel they want to be a team player, or they're being pressured by their principal or other administrator to simply help the school show improvement. When you pressure schools to show improvement and you also allow them to be their own assessors, this kind of stuff is going to happen. A graduation rate is no different. Essentially, we teachers, we make up the grades. There's no standard citywide grading practice, so I can give a student any grade I want.
Jim and Susie, you guys are both academically good students, but Susie, you seem to be doing better at this, at speech, than whereas Jim is doing better in basketball or something. So we're going to gear you more towards this and lean you towards that, so that you'll have a better advantage or greater opportunity at actually achieving,
Or you at least are basing the selection on an interest the student already shows.
Yeah,
rather than simply
forcing them
showing them a big menu where they don't want anything in the menu, but they want this, and say, well, don't focus on that, and you eat all this too.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I don't really want to, but if I have to pick one, I'm gonna pick that.
And I think other countries do that. Other countries, they still counsel people into certain career tracks. And I think because of that, people who come here from all sorts of countries, they come here with a greater wealth of skills, deeper skills that even if they may not speak the language, they can come here and they still can go into a field and start making money right away.
Yeah.
Whereas people here, they went through school and they're still struggling because they got a piece of paper but they have
no experience,
no real skills,
hands-on.
nothing on paper.
Yeah, and it's like, it just helps them in every way. There's anything negative that they can say about bringing back like home economics and work counseling and all the things that they used to have, the different trades and different skills along with the academics and stuff. Besides money and stuff like that, they can't say anything like I believe that the only argument they can make is money, as far as funding it.
I would say how it would cost much more than anything else.
Because I'm not familiar with it, so I wouldn't know, if it would be a funding problem or not.
Very, very often it's a question of
will it work or
will it work? It's really a matter of how it's going to be perceived. You are putting, if all the schools in the black neighborhoods, for example, have the trade programs, or primarily in black neighborhoods, it's going to be seen as a racial, and you're channeling people to the skill. If it just so happens that's where the interest lies, that's why it's there.
Yeah.
But hi, Derek Sacerdote again, running for City Council, District 46. I want to talk to you for a few minutes about education. It is my belief that education can truly empower people, but it doesn't always work if we fail to consider the needs of the students. I ought to know, I've been a public school teacher for the past 11 years. I'm not here to attack anyone. In fact, many of my closest friends are school teachers and administrators. Everybody who I know personally has always worked hard for the benefit of the students, oftentimes doing so in spite of the hindering and very expensive reforms that are imposed upon them. One such friend is my friend Michael. Michael is a retired English teacher who, over the years, was involved in many serious conflicts with principals. These conflicts were all based on curriculum and instruction issues. Whenever these conflicts turned into a major power play, Mike would simply end the conversation by saying, "I don't work for you, I work for the kids." In fact, all of us really work for the kids. And my students the past 11 years at Samuel J. Tilden High School have never failed to remind me who it is I work for. They've told me what they're up against, about personal and family dramas that I could have scarcely imagined. A few of the most common questions I get, in spite of the ever-popular "can I use the bathroom pass?" are questions like, how will this help me in life? Why do I need to learn this? These questions are frustrating, largely because they're so hard to answer. These questions make me question the value of the subjects that we're offering, because these subjects seem to trap kids into an extremely narrow path. The curriculum makes various politically correct assumptions. Assumptions like all students are going directly to college. What about those who don't? What about those, for various reasons, cannot take that path? How are we helping these students? I don't think we really are. How will the subjects we teach help students to get a job, to live a little bit easier, or to gain any real level of independence? Whether a student is in public school for 6 weeks or 6 years, they should leave that school with something of real value. Bloomberg and Klein, in taking complete control, have failed to consider many of these issues. In fact, I believe they failed to consider any suggestions made by people who actually work inside the school system. If elected, I would challenge the Bloomberg and Klein control. For in this control, everyone seems to profit, everyone that is except for the kids. Your mayor travels worldwide getting praise for reforming the school system and for fixing it. I'm really not sure what school system they're looking at. The one I know is plagued by various problems, such as wasteful spending. Schools are renovated and renovated and renovated, oftentimes needlessly, oftentimes with no big contracts. Grading is often sloppy. Record keeping is often poor. Tests are very often graded in a very subjective manner. How do you honestly tell people to be fair and honest in grading exams if you're also telling them that their very job in their school depends on the results of the exam? It's a recipe for dishonesty. We need to bring back off-site grading, like most of the rest of the world uses. The school system is simply out of touch with the students it serves. If elected, I would bring back vocational training. I would also bring in personal finance education and consumer ed. I believe the school system must be made to adapt to the needs of the job market. A diploma should be more than a piece of paper. If elected, I promise to try and make graduation mean something, try to make graduates marketable, even in demand, directly out of high school.